fire, we'll let you know, mate. Just go. All right. So welcome to the Better Everyday podcast. And we're blessed with the presence of Dalate's director and founder, Bodie and Tom. Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming here. And it's the 10th birthday of Dilate Digital. The 10th.
Oh, did you say 10?
Yeah, I did say 10th.
I thought you said 5th.
Oh. Good start.
I heard that as
Good
well.
start. That's all right.
I was like, what is that, like a cross between
that Latin?
3
I really prefer to have MailChimp and Nova. Much better guests. But yeah, let's chat. I got a list of many questions that wonderful Jeannie gave me. But let's chat about Dilate. Start from you. Why did you found Dilate? What inspired you? How did everything start?
Okay, so it's a big question. I think it started because I saw a need to help businesses. There were people who were approaching me on a consulting basis after the last full-time job that I did for a marketing, in a marketing manager role for a group of accommodation properties, a boutique brewery and an eco lodge. And off the back of some of the growth of those businesses, specifically in the tourism sector at the time, I was getting approached for consulting. Obviously, being a great employee of that company, I was turning it away. But then when I stepped away from that business, I was able to entertain some of that consulting work. And that's essentially how it started. There was a need. Said need was being fulfilled. I was trying to be in the service of others, help those businesses. I loved the fact that when I applied what I knew and what I'd learned, they saw an uptick in their business and there was a win-win value exchange there. So that's really how it came into fruition. I didn't have any intentions to start a behemoth of a business like it's grown to today. It was only supposed to be me and work-life balance and a laptop. And then after you hire staff member number 1 and 2 and 3, it's a machine and it's a beast that needs to keep being fed. So
Day by day, right?
day by day, better every day.
And so how was that leap of faith from employee to, let's get into this, consultancy business?
Yeah, well, I remember very distinctly that I needed to hire and I needed to essentially go, well, I've got enough revenue to cover enough of my needs being met, but now I have to cover the livelihood of someone else. And I think making the decision to hire staff member number 1, I realised it was going to be break even. And in order to push through that, we were going to have to create more revenue. But in order to create more revenue, we needed that employee. So it was a chicken and egg scenario. And I think you just got to jump. And we jumped and yeah, it was very lucky.
Is that scary when you hire an employee? A genuine question for me.
It wasn't really scary until probably employee number 3 who caught a bus and a train.
That was me, just so you guys know. That's good. No, was that obviously...
It was absolutely terrifying, yeah. Because, I started the business with $3,000 in the bank. That was it. That was the backstop that I had. There was no lines of finance. There was, I had bills to pay, and soon later on, kids on the way, and it's a stressful time. You're making commitments, and you're responsible not only for your own income, but you're responsible for every staff member that precedes the last, and every single one of those people you take to bed with you, not in a weird way, but you take to bed with you every night. You put your head on the pillow. You know that you're responsible for them. They are, when you sign the paperwork. Do you have any dependents? It's like, yeah I have 100 of them. That's how it feels.
That's good. And who was when you signed your first client? How was that moment? Like, was there this is my first client? Is going. I don't know what sort of engagement was at that time, but how was that sensation of it like?
Yeah, it was exciting. It was the pricing thing was quite interesting. Our hourly rate hasn't changed much since the starting point. I got some really good advice about how to price your time, because the reality is we're a service business. That's what we're selling. We're selling time. So got some really great, advice on how to set pricing for myself. But it was really quite crude in the early days. It was, what is my expenses? What time do I have carved out available for this client? And it was, use that to deduce said hourly rate, ensuring that it's going to provide value to the client. It's got to be a win-win. You know what I mean? I always say, if you take $1 from someone's pocket and put it in yours to win, you've already lost. So everyone in the supply chain has to benefit from you as the owner, to the employee, to the client, and the community that you're serving, which is why we turn a lot of business away that doesn't, align with our values.
And I mean, I always refer to you as you're obsessed with service delivery and customer service. It's a good obsession to have, and how that came through. But is that a genuine need to do a good thing for someone else, to create that environment?
I think it just comes naturally. I'd like to say that that it's innate to me, but I think it comes let's talk about where it's not present. It's definitely not present in people who haven't built something from the ground up. I think when you build something from the ground up, the people you serve, you see a direct outcome, because you're dealing with one client, or you're dealing with 2 clients, or you're dealing with 3 clients, and you've got such a strong relationship with that business because your business is reliant on that business, that you are almost like an in-house partner for them. And I think it's just taking that approach and applying it at scale. And that's where it's come from. So I think if you come into a business, you might come in through acquisition, you might come in through, M&A or whatever it might be, you maybe lose that a little bit. You know what I mean? I think it's a case of having that close affinity to the outcome of what you do. It's not what you do that matters, it's the outcome of what you do that matters.
We'll talk about caring. That's probably what it is.
Yeah, giving a shit.
Giving a shit, yeah. Well, I'm just gonna go to Tom. Otherwise,
yes, please give me a break.
I know I can see the salivation is going. Yep. But Tom, how did you get here?
Where did you come from?
How did you get in the passenger seat of not the passenger, the co-pilot seat on this big Airbus 380, big plane. Became a big plane, right from a little Piper to a
Big ship.
massive double-decker plane. How did you get there? Tell us a story about it.
So I was working in an accounting firm, so accounting background. Was working in an accounting firm at the time. Was in there for about 10 years, not really loving what I did every day. I loved sort of the connection with the businesses that I got to speak to, but I was just, doing financial reporting, tax advisory, dealing a lot with the law, and spending a lot of time looking backwards, and I didn't love that. And I basically, through that career, carved out a role that allowed me to sit down with clients and help them with their forward planning and their growth trajectories, and what problems can we solve and what do we need to fix. And it was a growth program that I managed to carve out for myself and get decent at delivering it. And I was lucky enough to work with Bodie. I think Bodie engaged my then boss for his marketing for the business, and we sort of fell into a relationship where we were doing this program. And
I think you said marketing, accounting.
Accounting.
Yeah.
Okay.
It'd be weird if it was a marketing agency. Sorry. An accounting firm for marketing, but yes.
True. I was doing these programs and working with Bodes, and I guess he sort of mentioned things were hard, and it was, and as through that program, we sort of talked about all the challenges that the business faced at the time. And, I think we were jokingly, at one point,
I said to you, the best.
You said, "Why don't you buy this? Why don't you buy it?" or something, just jokingly, and we came to the conclusion that he and I both did the same thing, just from different seats. Like, my passion was always helping small business to grow and sort of achieve their potential, and from a marketing perspective, the purpose of the business is to help people grow and to achieve their potential.
I think I said to you, the accounting firm reports on the numbers after the fact. The marketing, drives the numbers, and it makes sense for an accounting firm to have a marketing engine to offer growth to their clients, and that's where the conversation sprung from.
Yeah, and then I
still agree with that point, by the way. Yeah, but that's another podcast.
We'll get around to it. I actually went home. I'd been offered partnership in the accounting firms previously, and I never really had that fuck yes moment. Like, I never had something inside me to say, this is what my future looks like. But I think it was after that catch up, I went home and I basically just had a fire in my belly to see a need that I could really fulfill. Like, that Bodie had at the time that I could actually go and help with. And I put together a bit of a business plan, a bit of a spiel, and I called him up and sort of said, I've got something to pitch you.
You went goodwill hunting on the blackboard.
I drove down to Henderson at the time and just basically pitched Bodie. This is how I think we might be able to work together. I was very drawn to his passion, like you said. And I think we shared a lot of similar values. I think we were reading a lot of the same books at that time, and
we had
sort
some
of
decent bands as well. We had good bands.
Yeah,
there was lots of making fun of each other.
Yeah,
left brain, right brain.
It was just a connection that I had. So I put it all on the line. Sort of drove down and sort of said, well, how about we do this thing together? You know, right brain, left brain, as it's well known these days. But put a plan to see if we can do this thing together. So
I think that caring about the outcome for the client is just came out natural in these conversations from what Bodie said and what you said. Growth plan, but growth in marketing, growth into the business operations, which is where probably a lot of clients struggle as well in terms of what's the next step. They just get stuck and hit this ceiling. And I think it's a great partnership. So tell me more about their first impression, right? So we know how you got there.
Yep.
Shake hands. Sign whatever you had to sign.
Yeah.
Wasn't that straight?
Was it a fuck no? was it a fuck yes or a fuck me?
Should we talk about the bit in between?
The bit where I called you from the airport? Yeah, definitely. Talk
Do we
about
know
that.
that story?
Yeah, what's the story?
go for it.
Right, so after that, where I came down and I said, I've got this idea, and sort of, he effectively said, yeah, cool, let's kick that can down the road and see where it lands. I resigned from my then long time job.
Pushed his chips.
I went all in and, told the wife, we had a young kid at the time, I'm doing this thing. I'm so adamant this is where I'm meant to be going, and it's happening. And then, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, Bodie's going away. Where are we going?
I was going to Thailand for a bucks party, yeah.
And got a call from the airport.
From the airport on the way out.
You could probably pick up this.
I'm just about to fly out, and I call him up, and I'm like, yeah, so I'm having second thoughts, and he was the consummate professional. He was so, like, if that was me on the other end of the phone, I'd be like...
You couldn't see me on the
I'd be like, you fucking what? But instead he was like, all good, mate. Go on your trip, take a break, take the time,
All good, mate.
take the time, think about what you want, come back, we'll sit down together, we'll work it all out, we'll talk about it. And I did just that. I went on the trip, and I was very lucky to have some great friends on that trip that I got to sit down. They were in business as well, business owners themselves, and we were able to sort of hash things out, and I sort of was able to, vulnerably share some of the things I was going through and some of the ways I felt Tom complimented me. And I think that reaction was the number one thing. The fact that you were in that position and you were able to keep your cool, and you know me, I can't. So so I was like, I need a bit more of this in my life. So I came back from the trip and we got in a room, we locked it all away.
Yeah. I was like, don't get me wrong, shitting my pants. Like, I was like, oh no, what have I done? But I was just something inside me, Rob, that I was like, this is what's happening. And when Bodes figures that out, we'll get.
Yeah, you were like you were like throwing caution to the wind and let the universe put you in the right position, and you moved everything knowing it was going to eventuate. So kudos to you.
So let's go back, Lali. Where did you hit that ceiling? Where did you feel like you could not move forward? Like, what were there? Like, why did you engage Tom?
In myself.
So was you? Even
I hit the ceiling in myself.
Yeah.
So I was. I didn't know what I didn't know. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm not. University qualified, non-university qualified. Financial background, systems, process. I'm, in the marketing space, self-taught. I am very good at sitting in a room and talking to people. I'm very good at understanding the energy transfer that happens between people and putting people in the right seats to get the best outcomes out of them. We just have a completely unique set of skill sets. And I'd identified that I was lacking a huge amount of the skills required to punch through the ceiling. And that's where I needed help. And Tom came at the perfect time. Like, the universe made that decision happen for him, and I think Tom coming into the business was the universe putting right exactly what I needed in front of me at the perfect
And I
time.
think what you just said, you can only get help if you know you need help. Until
Exactly.
you realize that, there's no point.
If you're the smartest person in the room, where's the
gonna be an
growth?
issue, right?
Where's the growth?
Absolutely. And well, then the next question is, obviously, Tom came in, started building, a bigger business, and obviously for myself, there's me, Dilate, and there's holiday period, 5 years, and came back. But when I came back, what I saw, I mean, I came visiting every time, so I never lose track of what Dilate was doing. But when I came back, I saw these values on the wall. Everything sort of changed more to. There was a cultural change in Dilate, and before, when it was you and I, and it was great, more fun, but I don't think we had that cultural piece. We're probably building the culture around being friends and hanging out together.
The beer and burger
the
test.
beer and burger team and the pint after work and at in Pinjarra having a lot of fun and stuff. But when did you think there was a cultural shift where you actually became something that attracts the talent and stuff?
I remember Tom came down and did a workshop with myself and some of the leadership team the team. There wasn't a leadership team. There was just the team.
It
then.
was like a Y session.
And we did like a Y session and like he said, and it's actually the process that we take businesses through now with the brand strategy. It's the first part of the brand strategy. So he took me through that process for myself, and he was able to, credit to him, he was able to extract the things that I felt and the business that I wanted to create, and he was able to mold, I guess, all of those things around it, you know what I mean, and create something that we could serve up to our clients, which gave them a sense of who we are, as opposed to that being reliant on me being in the room. And that's what's really exciting now is I don't have to be in the room to give a business the sense of who we are as a company. Anyone following our values, our purpose, our vision, our mission, and the sea of assets that we have to support decision making and alignment, anyone can do that. Do you know what I mean? Like yourself, for example, there's no better person to, I know categorically, whether I'm in the room or you're in the room, that client is going to get a universal experience. To be honest, I'm probably a bit rusty to go in the room. I haven't been in the room for a while. But the point is, I know categorically that you'll give them as good of, probably a better experience now than I would be able to. And that goes for not just you, for multiple people out there on the floor, which is exceptional. Like I said before, about, you can't be the smartest person in the room. I haven't been the smartest person in the functions for a long period of time. In each vertical, there's experts in their, given disciplines, and the collective, culmination of all that skill set creates an environment that I want to be in. It's infectious. I don't know about you, but it brings me, there'll be a couple of days. You mentioned to me at the lunchroom, you said, I know when I'm,
On a Friday or Saturday, I just want to go to work on Monday. Like I feel it, like it's what's next? Like I don't feel like, I do feel like I'm working, especially now. Actually, Maz had a kid, so congratulations, Maz, by the way.
Congrats, Maz.
There's a lot to do, but it doesn't feel like it's boring. It's cool stuff. It's just easy. Yeah,
That's
good.
That's the environment. Like that's that discretionary effort. That if we can create something like that, it just drives itself. But like to your point before, I think, and what I was saying before about your passion and your energy and your enthusiasm, like your devotion to service and excellence. Like I think every business comes from its founder, and in that Y session, I think that was one of the topics. Like you think of Apple, who you're thinking about straight away. There's all these companies out there that are doing a good job, but it comes from the person. It comes from a human person, and it's probably again just the universe kind of working where I got to see that in a scale by working with lots of different businesses and sort of being able to understand where Dilate was in its journey, in its life cycle, and knowing there was such good passion and values and energy behind it, and then being able to kind of scale that. I think that's what you're referring to with the values on the wall, and and it's all those things. It's taking that and trying to put that into every piece of what we do and how we do it.
And those company you mentioned, there's always the founder is obsessed with something, and usually that obsession translates into what's good about their company and body, and not in a bad way, but the obsession about customer service and making sure that there's a win-win-win scenario. That is the obsession that I think made a difference for Dilate. So,
and remember, you can only get one reputation, but you can make all the money in the world. But reputation is
that
gone.
It's gone in seconds. Takes years to build, but takes seconds to destroy. But what is the turning point from where you understood that Dilate was being more than a business? Because that's what I feel like. Dilate is not just a business. It's a place where there's much more than that, and I mean it. I mean it where there's friendship that's been forged at Dilate. There's those relationships that will be memories of a lifetime. It's a bit more than come to work, get your salary, deliver the service, get a review and stuff. It's a bit more than that. When do you think is that turning point happen, or it's been from the start?
I know mine. Mine is clear. I still remember it like it was yesterday. Like it was tomorrow. I remember it like it was yesterday. It was when, I don't know, it might have been the year in to me joining, and we'd had these pods and the 3 pods working, and a big part of that concept was to enable the pod leads to develop their leadership skills, to give them a sense of driving their own business within a business. And it was on one Friday afternoon where, obviously with our global team, a challenge of that is to actually connect the people together, connect the dots. So on the one hand, we're trying to build our leadership team and their confidence and ability, and also connect our global team together. And it was one Friday afternoon when everyone was on a call with their team. And I just saw the interaction, and from that point onwards, I looked forward to that Friday afternoon where they built that rapport and that relationship with their respective teams. I was immensely proud, and I will never forget that day. I thought that was amazing.
And for you, it might be different because you went through each little stage, of Dilate becoming more than a business. Can you pinpoint those points, or as many points?
You guys aren't going to like me.
Okay, we'll skip that.
For me, it's still forming. Like it's not something you reach. It's like our vision is to be the most respected agency, and the reality is it's something you aspire to be. It's not something you reach. I mean, there's probably something flawed in me, but I'm always chasing, never obtaining. Like it's not a moment of I have moments of reflection.
That's probably what I'm referring to.
I have moments of reflection where I go, wow, we've achieved that, or I'm driving to work after hitting one of these crazy milestones, like we've had multiple crazy milestones over the last year, where music will come on and I'll sink into the moment and I'll have a very brief moment of reflection and go, well done you. But then there's something in me that goes, don't rest in this. Don't rest in this proud moment. Don't get grabbed by it. Keep going, so.
And it's, like for me, you said something, probably a year, when we moved to Fremantle, we were just moving up to Fremantle, and we're in a leadership meeting, and you told us, we have 180 clients, and we have more than 100 staff, and our work impacts more than probably 2,000, 3,000 people a week. And then really sag into my brain.
And then there's the customers of those customers. And then there's the second and the 6 degrees of separation that connects everything.
That literally in my head was like, wow.
The economic dent.
It's big. Like once you start thinking about how many people your job is impacting in that moment. So
I now can't drive to work without seeing a Dilate client. Like every day I drive to work, I can be guaranteed that I'll either drive past a physical building or see a vehicle on the road, and I'll see in some way, shape, or form a Dilate client. I go to Exmouth for a family holiday, and I go to put the boat in at the boat ramp, and I see whale shark
Sharks.
businesses that are ours. You know what I mean? Like that we work with and have partnered and entrusted us to do the work with them. So, it's wild to think, how big it's grown from such a small idea.
And from a one-man band in a theatre room to this.
But we are still relatively small in the grand scheme of
Absolutely.
of the agency.
But is for me is the journey. The point of arrival is it's fluid, right? It changes. It doesn't really matter where we arrive or when we arrive, or if we arrive or if we never do. It's where we're going in the journey.
There's no prizes for the business.
No,
You know
exactly.
what I mean? Like,
That's
it's just-
it. When I joined Dilate back in 2022, was very different for what it is today. And I don't know if I would have thought that would have changed so fast. And, in 2 years, this could change again very fast.
Have you got a question there? Would we do anything differently?
Yeah. Don't worry, we'll get in there.
No.
There's one, first of all, is from both of you. What is...
week are you referring to?
No, there's one thing that I think not just me, the leadership team will be very curious, but you guys are working more on the business rather than in the business. How is that? I mean,
Doing both.
you're doing both, but
At the moment. There's always little things
when
that
you
drag us back in from time to time.
you got to, from last year, let's say that you had focus more on
Yes.
working from the bigger picture and stuff.
Oh, to give you an idea, like you were able to take my head of growth role and own that end to end, which has then freed me up to work on the business. So yeah, 100%.
But what I want to know is, how was that transition? Because for me, it's like the same transition as from employee to business owner, from working in the business to outside the business. It's a very different. I don't know if everyone understands how it's like literally zooming out and now we're moving things around.
Yeah, the different types of projects we've done this year, from the aligned acquisition, the fitting out of the office. It's all different work. For a period of time there, I was on a ladder installing, like an audio setup in the roof and stuff. You just do what's required. Was that a good use of my time? Probably not. But the reality is, you get in, you get your hands dirty, and you do what's required, and you weigh up the reward versus the investment of time. Whether is it better to hire someone? Is it better to do that job? Is it,
I think it is a learning curve as well. Like I think
For everyone.
finding like taking that leap and figuring out what to do next is just as much of a learning curve. It's as to what to do next once you've given the role to someone else.
That's probably
It's now what?
It's like scratching an itch. Like it's like not being able to scratch an itch. Just saying there's an itch there, I'm not going to scratch it. But it's like you get conditioned to do what you've always done, and then to have to step off of that and not and trust it to the people, because you don't want to micromanage. You don't want to be looking over people's shoulders. You want to say, here's the role, handle it, and give them a measure of successes, accountabilities, all the things that they need, the structure, the systems, the processes to be successful. You say, here's the package. There you go. You take that and you run with it. And quarterly, I want you to check in on those metrics. And if you struggle, reach out to me and I'll give you help. But then you see things every day. I see things and I'm like, oh, I wouldn't have done that. But the cost of doing it for them versus allowing them to fail and then being there to support them when they fail, that's the hardest thing, because I just want to, fix it when I see it.
That's
but
the
then
investment, yeah.
that's the investment. The investment is the fact that you have to allow that person to make a mistake, and that mistake is almost like a cost of doing business. It's
Cost of sale.
It's an
Cogs.
education.
we still do that in each other. Do you know what I mean? Like we'll like, what do we do next? And I might say one thing and Bodes will say another thing, and he might let me go ahead with it, and he might let me fail, and vice versa.
And for us on the other side of the table was, we're just gonna make a decision without asking Tom and Bodie,
fail
and
fast, fail
and we're just
quickly.
like sometimes we'll be like, hey, Bodie, make a decision. Now it's not there, so Tom, make a decision. We have to do it, and it's not easy, It's and then you realize how tough it is on the other side of the table.
The best part is when a member of the team fails and they come to you with the failure and they say, I've done this, this is the outcome, but this is the problem. They go, this is the problem, but here is my proposed solution. And that's great, because all you have to do is acknowledge that you've heard them, acknowledge that they know they've messed up, and acknowledge that they've also created a solution to resolve it. That's all you want as a leader, to know that your people have the ability to do that. And that if that's what happens, that's great. It's when a problem lands on my desk with no solution, that's where I get frustrated, because if you help to craft the problem, you help to craft the solution, in my opinion.
Talking about risks then, what is the one risk you guys took, either as a company or during your Dilate, that really paid off, but it was like a risky?
Employee number 3.
Yes. I was a risk, high reward. It was though.
It was.
Let's talk about it. It was a big investment, sponsoring someone, and
you came down. Do you want to talk about your story? You came down. It's not. Yeah,
I mean, it's not about me,
but no, I think Dilate is all the stories. So you came down to me. Let's just quickly snap to that, because that was a big risk.
So I mean, the way it started is, and I needed to find a job. So I went to Tasmania. Let's fast track very quickly. I went to Tasmania to work in a farm, because that's the condition of the visa, right? And then the friends I was with, they said, fuck it, we're not staying here. I was like, well, I'm with you in the car, and I don't have a car. I was like, well, do something. So I had no money. I called my dad and I was like, hey, I'm stuck in Tasmania. My dad doesn't even know where Tasmania is. But let's say it's very far, and I need some money to get back to Perth. And he was like, yeah, cool. Like the next flight I'm paying you is to come back to Italy, just so you know. So I flew to Sydney, and in Sydney, I found a client that had the similar branding, which was all credit back then, to my company, like the company I work for in Italy. So I sent them an email, didn't get a response, and then I saw that the website was made by Dilate. Anyway, come back to Perth, and I see Dilate was looking for back then was an account manager, marketing manager, and I was like, look, this is my last shot. I'm just gonna send an email. And I sent an email. I was like,
I still have that.
He still has the email. Probably
both of them.
English. Yeah, dude. I get a call from Bodie, and he said to me, do you want to come for an interview? I was like, yeah, absolutely. I come for an interview, and look, we're here and stuff. So then I realized what Pinjarra was. I wasn't down there. It's not very close, but it's fine. We do that. Immigrant mentality. Doesn't matter. And then the funny part about the day, and this is it's very funny. It was a shit day. It was raining. I missed the first bus. I arrived 1 minute late. Sliding doors, literally running, and the doors closed at the train. I was like, fuck. Anyway, fast track. I arrived in Mandurah, and then I called Bodie, and I was like, hey, Bodie. And he thought like, oh, no, don't tell me you're just not coming. And I say, no, look, I'm coming by bus. And he was like, what? What? So I arrived in Pinjarra, and he picked me up in the car, and then I pretty much spent the day there, and there was a good connection. Obviously a lot to learn. He made this marketing test. I still remember that test.
Did I? I don't remember that.
Yeah, I remember that test. And anyway, I passed it. But then we had it was fun. We had a beer at the end, and he said to me, look, I told him transparently what the conditions were for me to stay. You will have eventually to sponsor me within, I think, 4 months. Mm-hmm. So I knew I had to prove myself. But regardless, it was a great experience. And even if you say no, I would have understood. Like I got a lot of noise in my life, especially in Australia, because of visa condition. And then I was on the train and had a very great day. I was going back with a big smile. I was tired because it was 7 p.m. or something like that. And then he called me.
The interview lasted like 4 hours. I thought, let's make it worth his while. He's driven 8 hours to get in.
And he hired me, and that was a very nice day.
Talk about commitment. You moved down to Pinjarra.
Yeah, and I think the lesson there is, even if it's an absolute shit day and something looks very bad, if you push through, sometimes it pays off. I think that
good lesson
paid off. And I think when you hired me, our marketing, the recurring revenue was like $10,000. Wasn't really enough to justify an extra employee.
The first few hires were all taking a punt on the fact that the growth would continue.
But I still remember I left in February 2017, and I said to him, we're gonna reach $1 million of revenue, and by the time I left, I still remember that month we cracked 92 grand a month, which was $1 million. So I left with smile, and then kept in touch, and I'm back. Good story. So it was good. Yeah. But yeah, beside me, and because it's about you guys especially, what's the risk that you have taken as a company that really paid off beside hiring me?
I loved
Which-
the interviewee became the interviewer
That was
for a
great.
moment there. I loved it.
It's good.
Part of the story.
What was Tom? What do you think?
Risk. Well, the obvious one is getting here. I had to go to mum and dad and ask them to mortgage their house, and obviously mortgaged my house. And they took some money out of their super, and I obviously Dilate was valued where it was at the time, and I believed in it, and I believed in this guy, and the fact that together we could make it, something that was worthwhile of such a substantial risk at the time.
It's
And
funny
even
'cause-
as scary as that, looking back at it, it's like pretty
scary.
hectic. But I didn't hesitate for a second.
But I took that on. Like he was the one taking the loans, but it felt like I'd taken loans. Do you know what I mean? My financial position got better. I got some liquidity as a result of him buying in.
But you were
But I emotionally took on his debt, because he's like, I believe in you. You think about the weight of that, like that was heavy. And then again, 3 times over with the 3 other shareholders, Mark, Chris, and Brennan. Like, you talk about going to sleep. I go to sleep with their positions, my own position, and the
Parents'
staff
position.
Yeah, and everything. You know what I mean? It's not something that's lost on me.
No,
it strips the years off them.
So like you ask for the question now. I will ask you now. What would you have done differently, if that's anything? And for me, it's weird because we're here because of our results of action. Yeah. Sometimes our mistakes in that moment, but then you think like, oh, if I didn't do that, I wouldn't be here. But
I would have tried to stretch it. I've got this answer because I was thinking about it today on the way to work. I would have stretched it over 15 years, what we've accomplished, instead of 10. So this is obviously a podcast to crystallise the 10 years in business. So I would have done it in 15 years, and how I would have spent that time would be a balance of a few things. It'd be more time with family, because this has come at a sacrifice to that. I'd say more time speaking to the people in the business. I feel like at times I come to work and I run from the moment I get here to the moment I knock off and rush home. And I feel like I'd love to have more time to build relationships out there. In the early days, it was easier. But now as we get bigger, you think about, you can't have 45 odd conversations, in a day. So you get to try and move yourself around the organisation and give everyone a little bit of, time, and making them feel valued in what they're doing and things like that. So I'd love to do that. And also just a little bit more time to stop and smell the roses in regards to when I promised myself when we moved here to Fremantle that I would go next door to Elizabeth Books and pick a book that I like off the shelf and walk it down to Clancy's and get myself a glass of wine and put my feet up on my lunch break. I haven't done that once. So just those sort of things, just not be so full throttle all the time. But that's a me thing, probably.
What's a you think, Tom?
I was going to say, if that looking back is what you would change, then yeah, it's probably, and we haven't done it yet. It's definitely an us thing, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is an us thing.
What would I change? I don't know if I would say anything, to be honest. I know
It's a butterfly effect.
It's probably a cheesy answer, but I think we all learn along the way. I think businesses learn along the way. I think making mistakes is part of the journey. And I've said to you a few times, it's success is not the end game. It is the game. Like it is the journey of making mistakes and figuring out, next time, maybe let's do it this way. But at the end of the day, maybe not.
Look, if I didn't go to Tasmania, I wouldn't be in here.
Yeah, exactly.
So would I be? So, and if you tell me the day after I came back, was it a mistake? It was a fucking big mistake. But today, you can connect the dots up when you look back in the past. Say, oh, that led to that, and butterfly effect, as you said.
Yeah, you change one thing, you might be in a vastly different position.
It's kind of like, again, like it's that sports mentality a little bit, right? it's not making the shot or kicking the goal. It's
consistent.
It's not about that. It's about practicing doing the right things over and over again.
Absolutely, and I think, and you will know this. You said would have stretched this to 15 years, but you don't know because you're just doing day by day and building it, and then all of a sudden you're here in Fremantle. And I think is when people also ask me, have you done that? I would love to do it. I was like, it's just day by day. You just come here and just keep going.
I wouldn't wish it on my worst enemy.
Kept going.
And I love the fact that people assume it's like, oh, it's so fast, it's an overnight success.
No,
it's
not.
just
It is an overnight success after years of struggle,
blood, sweat, and tears.
and sweat and tears.
Yeah.
And but we still have some time. So let's talk about the better everyday philosophy, which is in the walls and stuff. What does it mean to your body, and what does it mean to you, and how it applies to life? Because it's life here and outside.
I think it's that, just to connect it to the last topic we were talking about, it's the consistent gains. It's the fact that nothing worthwhile comes easy. Everything comes with a little bit of hard work. And I feel like it's giving our people something to get behind and to believe in. But the only way this place grows is if our people grow. So, and I'm not talking about grow as far as professionally, financially. It's about grow as people, as human beings. So when they grow, they then pass that down and everyone gets better. Does that make sense? So when we invest time in each other and then we go on to invest time in our leadership team, they get better, and then we teach them the skills of passing that knowledge and experience down. And it's a case of we all, I always say a rising tide lifts all ships, and it's true. Like, when the tide lifts, all the boats rise. And that's where, if everyone just gets that tiny bit better as they walk through the door every single day, we can't not grow. We will always grow. It's only when you've got people with their oar in the water, not rowing in the same direction, and you get enough of those people that the boat stops moving in the right direction. Won't affect the tide, but you know what I'm saying. The analogy's there.
Yeah,
it's
You need to ride the tide and the wave, right? So,
that's it.
What do you think, Tom? Tell us about your better every day.
I think the better everyday thing probably came out of the values process when we were really, carving them out and over a period of, 12 to 18 months, refining what they were. Better everyday philosophy is having an environment that people feel safe to fail. I think that's so important. If people feel safe to fail, knowing they're in a place where they're going to get, supported and, help fix the problem next time, I think that's the place I wanted to work at. And, if that is what we create as a culture, then I think the better everyday philosophy has come off the back of that. We figured out what is this called, and it's just a constant reminder, and it's a thing there to let us know that we are human and we do make mistakes, and accountability is on the wall because we literally do fuck up from time to time, and it's okay. And,
Absolutely.
And figure it out how to fix it for next time, and let the client know or let your mate know how you're going to fix it for next time, whatever the case may be. So, yeah, I love it. I think it's. I don't know.
It is.
I don't know where it was coined from and who it was necessarily, but it's just something that I think has organically come from the culture that we've created.
So an environment to take risks is what you're saying, because the beautiful thing about this, I can slot in another boat analogy, where they say ships are safe in the harbour, but that's not what ships are made to do. Ships are made to sail. So without risk, sorry, that's really annoying. Without ships, without, the sail, we're safe, but we don't get anywhere. So
That's it.
yeah.
Sailors are made. Good sailors are made in the rough waters, right?
Yep.
There you go.
So,
Love this is like
And
a
there are-
podcast
wow.
for sailors.
There are- And there are
fine.
good ships. Oh, there are small ships, and there were tall ships, and there are ships that sail the seven seas. But the best ships are the friendships. So here's to you, and me.
we're not having done beers.
We'll have to cut that bit out.
No, we're not.
But okay, I give you a gift. You can
The pen?
say to a young body something that will help him. In 10 years ago, you can say something to young Tom.
You've asked me this question, but this is the one he asked me last time. I nearly
No,
cried
I
at.
didn't, and I'm not asking the question because I'm not making this emotional like last time because I got told off. But what would you say to a young body, 28, 29-year-old body, and what would you say to a 28, 29-year-old Tom today? What you learned?
You want to go first?
I don't know what the answer is.
All right, I'll go first. So I would say run, move, exercise, whatever you move, just move, do something every day. It's good for your mind. Say meditate every day, also good for your mind. I would say make time for those things and those people who are important to you. Work will always be there the next day. I would say, leave it at the door. Don't take it home as much as you have in the past. I would say, that's probably what I'd say.
You've got a lot to say to you. That's a lot.
There's more. I could probably keep going, but I was trying to keep to the time.
It's probably not as deep or philosophical as that. I don't know. I don't know. Just for me, it was have a go. Like, just don't be scared to have a crack at something.
Don't be scared to fail, huh?
Believe in yourself.
Believe in yourself. Yeah, I think so. I think it's lean in, trust yourself, and just have a go.
Our content team gave me 2 questions to close this birthday podcast. The first one is, if you had to pick one word to describe Dilate's journey so far, what would it be and why? One word.
One word.
Can I
to
have a
explain
dash
the
in
journey.
it?
You can have a dash. I can let you 2 words if you want. But
What's that called from a writing standpoint when you put a dash between 2 words?
Hyphen.
yeah, because he didn't go to uni. Not even going to school.
One word to explain the journey. I would say fun.
Fun. Why?
I think, going back to what I said a minute ago, success isn't the end game, it is the game. I think I love business, and I love creating one where there's people that I enjoy coming to work with, where I can work hard and have fun and look after each other along the way. I think that's good.
Mr. Chladka? Did I pronounce it right?
Stuck on this. I think I would be something along the lines.
Ships.
No, I think
Oars.
I've got the word gratitude on my wrist to remind me to be grateful. You know what I mean? So I think the byproduct of that would be that I'm very grateful for all the amazing people that I've got around me. I started this business as a it was almost like created my own little family, and Tom educated me along the way that you can't keep treating this business like a family, because every time someone left, I was like, oh, my heart, it hurts,
It's like a counselling session.
It was like a counselling session every time
like,
someone left. It literally, and then he kind of over many, coaching sessions, he encouraged me to look at it like a high-performing sports team. You still care about your sports team, you know what I mean? That you still support them, but if they make the decision to move on to a different team, that's it. You got to invest in the team that's in front of you, and so I think I would say that it's quite rewarding. I've got a lot of gratitude for the journey to date, and I've learned a lot about myself over the years. Probably just gratitude. But
Fun and gratitude. I think it's a very good mix, right?
if the content team gave me another 99 words, I could probably fill them all in as well.
sorry, I took a few words then, but gratitude's my word.
No, I think it's
And
depends what day.
so we still have time for 2 questions, but so we're gonna go 2 questions instead of 1. What do you think, what excites you as about the future of Dilate and the industry as a whole? What do you see changing? Because a lot has changed in the last, especially after COVID, and I didn't want to touch on COVID to avoid emotional part.
You just did.
But
Can we cut that, Dan?
but what do you think about the future of the industry? It's fast changing, a lot of uncertainty.
Yeah.
But also, I feel we're on the right track. And what do you think?
I think what we've done to position ourselves for content, which is spearheaded by this guy, I think really understanding that, the marketing needed real substance behind it from a creative
Standpoint.
and a copy, not just written words, but rich content. I think we've done that. We're doing that. It's getting better and better.
Working on it.
Every day. I think the thing that I'm focused on, over the near foreseeable future is setting up a lab to look at, AI and machine learning and going through from one end of the business to the other and looking for opportunities for efficiency, creating minimum viable products from said efficiency, and then when we identify something of value to ourselves, because that's what we've done along the way. Every time we've grown and our needs have changed, we've turned what we're doing for ourselves outwards. We're always the test dummy. We don't test anything we haven't tested on ourselves. So as we grow, the type of client we're serving kind of grows too. So going through the business end to end, looking for opportunities for efficiency. There'll be products from everything from discovery through to, everything. And it's when we find those opportunities, then turning them into minimum viable products and then being able to offer them out to clients for them to take benefit of. We've already started beta testing some pretty cool, voice, interactive, call them agents that are able to remove. I think you've been a guinea pig for me, Rob. I've created a clone of you, which is used for to book your calendar, for example. And to be able to, not everyone's right. Not everyone's the right fit for Dilate because it's where they're at in their business journey.
Yeah.
So this version of you is able to get to that information quicker and allow you to better utilize your time where you don't need to hire as many people in your team and things like that. So that's where I see it. It's further garnering more efficiency in the existing team. A lot of people say this, I don't see AI replacing people. I see AI getting more efficiency out of every human being in your organization to be able to stretch it further and to be able to grow sustainably, So the people who embrace it are going to benefit and the people who don't will,
Get hit by the wave.
get hit by the wave, that's right. And
So from
Boat
not-
will sink.
and the boat will
The
sink.
ship is gone.
and it's like the .com bubble again, and it's coming around. And there's a lot of like I went into there was a bottle shop and they had AI sourced wine and it's got the AI in their branding and stuff. I was just talking about it today and I'm like, God, who else isn't going to jump on this AI thing? I think we've tried to be quite quiet about what we're doing because we want to make sure we've got something of value and something sustainably that we can say here, here, client, this is something that can be of benefit for you that's going to grow your
Just
business.
another thing. It's like when fax came out, people thought, oh, it's going to affect mail. No, not really. It's just going to be
Just changes.
just a new mean.
Just changes.
It's not for next
This
time.
is really
I was
annoying,
doing the
right?
podcast. 3 times.
I know, it's pretty bad. I
shots.
should have turned it off. It's on snooze. That's what I keep snoozing.
Tom,
It's a
the
safe
answer
place
to
to
that,
fail, mate.
before the last question, what's your answer to that about the industry and opportunity for Dilate?
no doubt it's going to change. But I think if you look back over the last 10 years, I think there's been a whole bunch of stuff that we've had to stay in front of and navigate. And I think we've got the team to be able to do that. I think it is going to squeeze. There's going to be pressure on us to do things more efficiently. I think from a market point of view, as people adopt technology, price points might change, but we've got to find a way to continue to add value utilizing the tools that we have at our
New services are coming out too. We're creating new services, which is regardless of the price points.
You can't focus on your price. You got to focus on the value.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
as long as you always know the difference between the value and the price, that's where the margin sits.
But I do think, and the reason kind of we've sort of tried to head in that direction, I think there will be convergence in the industry as a whole, meaning because of all the different price pressures that is on all the different elements of marketing, with which there are a lot of different parts of that. Positioning the company in a place where it's going to be able to come out through that, the other side, by offering more services and giving the client a holistic place to grow their business from. And that's, even the training room and those sort of elements, this sort of stuff. Yeah.
Video
it's
production.
It's a hub of growth as opposed to just a single point.
And marketing is expensive when it doesn't work. If it works, usually it's not.
And I think that
But making it real, like this,
Absolutely.
like this
Yeah.
is like the AI is going to create content, but content's been produced at mass and dumped on the internet for years. It's not really any
remember
different.
the spinners that used to take content, spin it, and then push it out. Like that's been around for years. There's no difference to that. It's this real, authentic human connection that we're trying to get more efficient at. We're going to be using AI tools. I'm sure Dan will be using an AI tool or two in the edit and the cutting of this across multiple mediums. So you might be seeing a snippet of this on social media, but the reality is that the main edit will be probably have some sort of AI add-on with DaVinci or whatever he's using for editing, and then there'll be other mediums like Descript where you can edit based on text and things like that. So we're already using it throughout the process. It's just about being aware of what's out there and continually educating ourselves to stay abreast of it so that our clients don't have to be so constantly chasing new information. So.
Yeah, hopefully you can remove the sound of your phone during the podcast.
But even that creates new roles, like it itself creates growth.
A phone removal
person removing the sound of your
phone.
phone.
But 10 years of Dilate, great achievement, double digits.
Thank you.
What's your birthday? You got a birthday wish for Dilate. What is your birthday wish for the next decade? Content strategist, don't look at me. It's a great question, though. What is your birthday wish?
More of the same.
Blow the candle.
More of the same. More of the same. My birthday wish, if I can be honest, is, the next 12 months, I've put, as I said, a lot of sacrifices to get us to where we are now. I'd like a little bit more balance, and I hope that this place continues to thrive with me receiving a little bit more balance in my life. And I know it will, because we've got great people leading the organisation. So that's what I hope.
Tom?
Mine is similar in regards to the brand. I hope the brand continues to be one that we're all proud of. That's it.
Well, that's our wish. Our birthday wish, actually.
You kept it under an hour, which is good.
Happy birthday, mate. Well done.
Happy birthday.
It was great, guys. There's a lot that hopefully our client, our staff, our team can watch this and get some insights from the Dilate story. It was fun.
Thanks, Rob. I wouldn't have wanted...
And I'm grateful, so fun and grateful again. It was pretty cool.
I wouldn't have wanted to do it with anyone but you, to be honest. I think it's very fitting that you were on the other side of the table with your journey to date, and we even got a little bit of story from you, which is great.
I really hope we get some other stories of people that have been here. So Mark, Brandon, Chris P. There's so many people that have different stories. Yeah, that's why.
The funniest thing is the busiest people are the not some of the busiest people are the hardest. Would you agree, Jeannie? Yes, absolutely. To get on in front of the camera, because their blood, sweat, and tears are all into making sure they push the clients forward and they mentor and they're providing services to their team, and but they're the people with the most amount of experience and knowledge, and they're the people we really need to push to get on the camera. So it's catch-22, isn't it?
Good luck, Jeannie.
Good luck, Jeannie.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll get everyone.
Just drag them in.
But thank you so much, guys. It's been inspiring and fun. Grateful to be here on the other side, and
hope you got what
on to the next 10 years, right?
Cheers.
Okay, cool. Happy birthday.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Thanks, brother.
Sweet.